Hello, all new students, and welcome to the School of Computing at WSU. My name is Rajiv Bagai, and I'm a professor in the School of Computing. And also, as of this semester, as of fall of 2022, I'm the graduate coordinator of the PhD program in the School of Computing. So I don't know how many of the new grad students I'll be able to meet face to face during our orientation sessions next week. So I made this little video to give you an idea of my teaching and research areas. As far as teaching is concerned, I have been teaching all kinds of courses. I like to change my courses from semester to semester because the same course gets a little boring. And you can see the different graduate and the undergraduate courses I have taught in the past. And this is just a small, this is a sub list of all the courses that I've taught, just the important ones. Um, this semester, I'm teaching three courses. One is a graduate course on web programming, in which we learn 5 different languages: HTTP, CSS, JavaScript, PHP, and SQL. 5 different languages. So it's a very fast-paced course, an extremely popular course. Today is the 14th of August, and I believe as of today, there's almost 150 students enrolled in that course. Two undergraduate courses I'm teaching this semester. One is operating systems, CS 540, and the other is analysis of algorithms, CS 560. I believe they have, as of today, 60 and 90 students respectively. So a lot of students this semester. Um, Research areas, I've been here at WSU over 30 years, so my research areas have sort of evolved. It started with logic programming and then databases with inconsistencies. I was working in that area for more than a decade. Um, and more recently, I'm doing research in anonymity and privacy on the web and also in databases. So let me give you an idea of the research direction that I'm currently involved in. This is actually something that I used to be involved in. Um, so just to give you an idea, if you have a whole bunch of users over here and they're performing some task, if each user is performing some task on the internet and is, sort of communicating with some server over here, but they want to perform, each of these users want to perform the tasks that they are performing anonymously. Okay. There's several applications that people like to perform anonymously on the internet, such as e-voting. Votes. People like to cast votes anonymously. If you're searching for a job, that's something you like to do anonymously until you have the job in hand, and then that's when usually people let everyone else know that they got a job. If you're searching for a partner, that's something that people like to do confidentially, especially if you already have a partner. If you want to blow a whistle on a superior at your job, and so on, communication between spies. So there's several tasks that people like to do anonymously, where the goal is not to hide the fact that the task is being performed, but just to hide the identity of the person who is performing those tasks. These kind of tasks can be performed via an extra piece of software called an anonymizer. And I've written proxy agents here because it shows the inner structure of the anonymizer. And the research topics in this area are, they result from the fact that an anonymizer like this is subject to several different kinds of attacks. Okay. And those attacks essentially end up leaking some information, identity information about the users that are using the anonymizer. So after an attack has occurred, how much anonymity still remains in the system? That's something that I was working on in the past. And also analyzing the effectiveness of attacks and developing countermeasures against those was another direction that I have worked on in the past. But more recently, my research in this direction is on maintaining privacy in databases. Several organizations, they have a need to release their database. So for example, hospitals are mandated by the government to release databases of their patients because the government wants to monitor the movement of a disease, geographic movement of a disease. Um, and that's just one example of why a database may need to be released by the holder of the database. Another example is a retailer may want to release their database to, say, a third-party miner to maximize their profits, to study the behavior of their customers a little better. So this can be all kinds of reasons why people want to, companies or organizations want to release their database, but there's a lot of private information in those databases. In medical databases, for example, who has what disease, who was diagnosed with what disease at what point in time. That's something that is highly private, highly confidential, and people don't want the whole world to know what they're suffering from or what they were diagnosed with. Um, and also, people don't, or not always, they do not want the public to know what kind of things they've been buying from stores and so on. So when a database is released like this, it needs to be first sanitized, which means that a lot of this private information needs to be removed from the database, and only the sanitized database can be released. If you release a raw database, then you're just releasing a lot of private information, and that's against the law. So there's several different techniques for sanitizing databases, and the work that I've been doing recently is, once again, measuring effectiveness of different sanitization techniques. So there's several different ones. Some are better than the others, performance wise, effectiveness wise, and so on, and also developing new sanitization algorithms. Okay, so that's in brief the direction that I've been working on recently. I love to work with students, and as you can see, this is a list of all the papers that I have written with students in the last 10 years or so. Um, I have a few more papers that students were not involved in, but most of the papers that I wrote in the last 10 years, they've involved students. And so these names that you see in the red on the left side, these are the names of the different students that were co-authors of these papers. And in fact, two of these even got the best paper award at the conference in which they were submitted. So as you can see, I love to work with students. If you want to work with me on any area that you think that you and I can work on together, whether it's for a master's or a PhD, I'll be more than happy to talk to you. My contact information is over here. I sit in room 215 Jabara Hall. That's my email. Feel free to send me an email or call me or leave a phone message if I happen to be not in my room when you call me, and I'll be happy to talk to you. And if you are a new PhD student, then you definitely want to talk to me at least once. So send me an email or drop by my office sometime and let me know a little bit more about you. I'd love to know where you're coming from and what your background is, and what you're doing here. That's about all I want to talk in this brief presentation today. But I will meet some of you during the orientation sessions this week. And whether I meet you or not, once again, welcome to WSU, and I hope to see you around in the hallway sometime. Goodbye.